can tell you with the election, that is like everybody's talking about the fact that like, they're noticing an increase in marriages right now since the election. And I think from my perspective, what
Oh,
I'm seeing,
really?
isn't that interesting? Yeah. What I'm
It's only been
seeing
a
though,
month.
I work with singles. I know there's an influx, and I'm seeing singles go, you know what? I'm not going to date right now. I want to put things on hold. I am feeling really disillusioned about what's just happened. And I doubt I'm going to find somebody who, where we're not going to offend each other because our political views differ. People are so afraid, right? There's such a polarization. So they're like, screw it, I'm not going to date. And then there are people who are dating who are like, you know what? I don't ever want to be single again. I'm just going to stick with the person I'm with and we're going to go get married. So that's top of mind.
Wow.
How do you deal with it, right? What do you do?
Yeah, you know what's funny, and maybe this is a good question here. But my friend I was telling you about beforehand, before we recorded, uh, he was just texting me the other day about how he liked this guy. They went on a couple dates. The guy ghosted him after they talked about politics, and and he's like, it just sucks because it's something he's very passionate about, and that is such a deal breaker for people. Now, I I'm the most left person I know. Like legitimately, despite what you might read on the internet, I'm the most left person I know. And I think I've dated conservative women, I've dated liberal women, I've dated centrist women, I've dated all across the spectrum. And like you have to communicate, as you said, but like I struggle to see why people have such disdain for someone they may love in so many other ways now over political systems. So, but you probably see a lot of that.
I do. And it's so polarizing. And anything on the extremes, I always say anything too extreme is problematic, too rigid is problematic. We need to give people the benefit of the doubt. We all have differing viewpoints and opinions. And why, like, I feel like we should embrace that. We don't have to agree with
Right.
each other. What we need to do is have conversations and be able to have
Right.
mutual respect for one another. And
And
again, back
listen.
to the word curious. Listen more than speak, and just be curious. Suspend judgment, suspend criticism, and don't
Yes.
take something that they say and overly generalize that about them and make assumptions about them. So it is making us really become more isolated, more lonely, more depressed, more anxious
And
because we're not
cutting
able to
off
connect. It's cutting off. Yeah, cutting off.
large amounts of the society. I had a political commentator on after the election to talk about the election, and this was one of the things he said. He's like, don't like cut off relationships with family and people you've known your whole life because you disagree about politics. And it's just that kind of stuff to me is totally ludicrous because we're all nuanced individuals and we all have our reasons. And that's why I think if you listen to one another, you can agree to disagree. But if you listen to one another, you can really understand. And I think that's where we just don't have that anymore. Everyone just kind of wants to like vomit their politics on people and walk away.
Yes, and it's also making me think it's like you've got to also with that there has to be some level of sensitivity. For
Hmm.
example, a childhood really close friend of mine, we grew up in New York City together and she was on my social media on Facebook and she now lives in Europe. We haven't really had a close relationship since we were children, since like 5th or
Mm.
6th grade. And she's extreme. I mean, I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Israeli. And she went extreme to the other, like was saying it's a genocide and all of this, right? And started posting all of that rhetoric on my social media. I initially was like,
Wait,
hey,
how is she posting it on your social media? Like tagging
comments,
you or comments?
something. I'm so bad with social media. I have a whole team that
That's
manages
okay.
my stuff.
Good for
But
you.
it was coming up on my social media where she was posting. She must have done a post on Facebook. You can post or commenting. People were mentioning about because they know that I'm Jewish, and it's actually my profile photo has the Israeli flag. And so people are communicating on there, and she's really, and she's talking about how she's my best friend, and then going ahead and posting all this sensationalized news, not even rooted in fact. But I don't even want to get off on that tangent. But the point is, it's just
It's
like
disrespecting your relationship, though.
it was
Like, if she wants to talk about it, she should talk to you about it, like off
exactly
the computer and internet.
offline, right? And
Yeah.
like, and the other thing is, it's like she can have opinions and viewpoints, but be sensitive to the fact that I'm Jewish, I'm Israeli, and just like, right, be sensitive. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that she can't express some of her views, but it's like sometimes people are taking it too far.
Mm-hmm.
So it may sound contradictory. I'm saying talk about these things and respect one another, but there also has to be some level of consideration and sensitivity,
Yeah. I agree.
awareness, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So
And again, it comes down to me. I see people don't know how to debate anymore and have like honest conversations and listen and all of that stuff. But I, I, I just wish that people, especially people that people they don't know on the internet too, you should respect them, but you should really not air your dirty laundry in public with your friends, your family, and your relationship. Like
yeah.
that's very bad behavior.
Yes. Yes. So in just thinking about, I want to go back to like when you think about dating and when you're sitting down for a first date, why are people feeling compelled right now to have conversations about politics? It's always been a rule. You save that for later. You don't talk about your physical ailments or your mental illness. You don't talk about your exes. You don't talk about your history of traumas. And you don't talk about politics. But now what's happening is that because we're surrounded by such intensity and escalation around it, we're starting a first date with the subject of politics. Like, no brainer. That is not what we should be talking about.
That's a really good point. That is a really good point. Why are people starting? But I guess forever now, it seems like it's 8, 10, 12 years almost where it's just been like this endless nonstop news cycle where it's like, and everyone's in their algorithm too, which is the worst part of it because you're just in an echo chamber of whatever you
Confirmation
hear.
bias, echo chamber. And also there's stuff that people are regurgitating. So much of it is not rooted in fact. I'm so confused. I be like, wait, that sounds like that. I was alive during that time and I don't remember that happening. I have moments like that and I research and it's like not, but they believe it 150% because I heard it on TikTok.
On TikTok of all places.
Right? So we're getting our news from social media and you're just being fed. You have this, right? You're being fed reinforcing information to just cement your belief system that's already it's not even not rooted in fact. So we're being
propagandized almost by ourselves in some cases. And that's why I always tell people, because I'm an avid like news and politics junkie. Like I listen to all sides of it because I want to form my own opinion because I know I'm in algorithms. And now I'm mostly in like meme algorithms, which is fun because I get to laugh a lot. But
so
about
important.
politics, But I encourage people, and I encourage them on the show. I'm like, you've got to get your news sources from several different places. You've got to make your own opinion because there isn't anyone that's really giving unbiased, factual based recollections of what's going on. Almost everybody has some sort of agenda or some sort of viewpoint, whether they state it or not. I appreciate the people that state it, but you're in these algorithms that are just feeding you the same stuff over and over, making you hate the same people for the same reasons and forcing their way into like your thought pattern and also eliminating critical thinking skills
and weakening us and dumbing us down. As humanity, like we are just being weakened, more vulnerable, less support systems. And how people aren't seeing this, I don't know. I'm just like, how are they not recognizing?
My mind.
Yes.
It blows my mind.
The other thing is, it's like, I agree with you. You need to look at different sources, not just if you're really liberal, just paying attention to liberal news. No, you need to look at what the more conservative news is reporting on and all of this, right? To get a more balanced viewpoint. But I feel like we're all stretched in so many ways. Like I'm thinking like my day to day, I don't have a ton of time to look into all the, so how it's like, that's another way in which they're getting the best of us because we're just picking up what's
running
quick.
Around.
Yes. And we don't have the time. So we're just latching on to that headline and running with it.
That 45-second TikTok video that's explaining these complex world events to you in 45 seconds.
It's not serving us.
No, it's not.
Let's be smarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know how I took us down that path. I didn't see that coming.
That's my fault.
Thank you for listening to this clip from the full episode of Eyes Wide Open. Please like and subscribe for daily clips and new episodes that drop every Tuesday. I appreciate you.